Adam trudged into room 333. He closed the door behind him, sat down at a desk, and waited for Miss Townsend. He gazed out the window, feeling sorry for himself, and listened to the laughter and shouts of kids running to their buses and rides home. I should be out there in the practice field, not here, he grumbled to himself. Coach Roberts is going to be mad when I show up late. Where is Miss Townsend anyway? Shouldn't you have your math book open? The voice of an elderly woman startled Adam from his thoughts. He was surprised to see a nun by his side. She was dressed in a black robe and hood with a white collar and a large gold cross dangling from her neck. Wrinkles spread out from around her big brown eyes and gentle smile. But what Adam noticed most was her snow-white skin and rosy cheeks. I didn't hear you come in, he said. Oh, I didn't mean to frighten you, she replied. Nuns have a tendency to do that to children, don't they? Yes, ma'am. I mean, sister. He felt a little rattled because he had never actually spoken to a nun who wore the traditional robe, called a habit. Although this was a Catholic school, most of the teachers were not from the clergy. The few nuns and priests who did teach there wore regular clothes. Are you having trouble in math? She asked. Fractions, he muttered in disgust. I think I have a mental block. I get all confused between numerators and denominators, converting and inverting, and sounds like you can use a little help, she said. Mind if I try? I guess not, he answered half-heartedly. The nun leaned on a desk next to Adam's and proceeded to go over the basics of fractions. Material the class had covered weeks earlier, but which had left him in a fog. However, she did it in a way that made it more understandable than Adam had thought possible. When he easily managed to solve all 10 exercise problems in the book, he thrust his fist in the air and shouted, All right! Very good, praised the nun. Now do a couple more problems, and then maybe we can continue tomorrow morning before class. Okay, said Adam with a smile. As soon as he knocked off the last 2 problems, he looked up to thank her for help, but she was gone. That's funny, he thought. She was right here next to me just a second ago. How come I didn't see her leave? I didn't hear the door open or close. Boy, those old nuns sure can be quiet. He glanced up at the clock. Oh, no, 3:45. I've been here an hour. Coach is going to kill me. When Adam arrived late for practice, Coach Roberts looked at him in the eye and said, I thought you were going to be only 30 minutes late. I'm having trouble with fractions, Adam said with a sheepish grin. It took longer than I thought. Fractions, huh? I had trouble too when I was your age, Coach Roberts said with a wink. Now get out there at third base. After practice, Adam hustled over to Frankie and happily told him, Hey, I think I finally figured out how to multiply fractions. What happened? Did you get a new brain? Real funny. No, this old nun, I've never seen it before, showed up and it was like she turned on a light inside my head. All of a sudden I understood how to do the problems. So you think you could pass the big test? Asked Frankie. I hope so, but I still have to learn how to divide fractions. Yeah, that's my big hang-up, said Frankie. It has me stumped. Do you think she could help me too? I'm going to see her tomorrow morning before school. Why don't you come with me? Before first period the next morning, the boys entered the empty classroom, sat in the front row, and waited for the nun. Moments later, from the back of the room came a voice. Ready to learn how to divide fractions? The boys spun in their seats and saw the old nun standing in the back corner. Then they turned around and stared at the only door in the room, which was located in the front. It was still closed. We didn't see you come in, said Adam. Have you been there the whole time? In a manner of speaking, yes, she answered. A surprised Frankie whispered to Adam, how did she do that? Adam just shook his head in bewilderment. Sister, this is my friend Frankie, and he's having trouble with dividing fractions too. Well then, let's get right to it, she said. For the next half an hour, the nun tutored the boys until they finally caught on. As they worked on the last exercise problem, the classroom door swung open, and Miss Townsend walked in. Adam, I owe you an apology, she said, putting her briefcase on the desk. I had to leave school early yesterday because my daughter hurt her arm in the swing set at the daycare center. I had to take her to the doctor. She's okay, but I'm sorry I forgot to leave you a note. I hope you didn't wait too long for me. I promise I'll help you after school today. That's okay, ma'am, said Adam. I understand how to multiply and divide fractions. Sister here helped me. Sister? Who are you talking about? Her. Adam pointed to the desk next to his, and his mouth dropped open. The nun had disappeared. The nun, you know, the nun who was here just a second ago.